Welcome, friends, to tonight's session with Saffron Tiger. Welcome, Saffron Tiger.
Namaskar, Meena ma'am, and namaskar to all my viewers. Looking forward to yet another candid session with you all.
Yes, there's lots of news, so it's going to be interesting. So we start with what's in everybody's mind, and that is the Ayodhya Mandir, Ram Mandir, and the kind of controversies that are also surrounding it. Now, notably ahead of the Ayodhya Ram Mandir Pran Pratishtha ceremony on January 22nd, the idol of baby Ram was placed inside the sanctum sanctora of the temple in Ayodhya on Thursday. We're talking about a 5-year-old child, and the statue, that, or rather, not call it a statue, we call it a deity, is very beautiful and childlike, very beautiful, and everybody seems to be very impressed with the kind of sculpture that has been done. Now, in the midst of all this, as we know, Prime Minister is observing a strict fast where he's drinking only coconut water, sleeping on the floor on blankets, and he's also feeding cows, and also made a promise to visit so many temples, and which he has been doing in the last few days. So these are all things that he's been strictly following. And one thing that we notice about Prime Minister Narendra Modi is that there is a sort of detachment if you look at him in this spiritual quest. And you will notice that, see, I noticed this, when he was inaugurating the Boeing, the thing in Bangalore. And on stage was this Siddharamaya and all that. And you
Sitaram.
can imagine the way Siddharamaya and all behave. They behave like, there's nothing,
There is an
everything is
air
good.
of
Yeah,
entitlement.
yes. And you see him sitting in such contemplation on the stage. You see that he is totally detached from the whole thing. And yet, when he speaks, he's very, very specific about what he speaks. But what I meant was that, see, he's already on the spiritual quest where he's above all people. He's gone into this where he's going one with Ram. So it's a beautiful. You see the aura around him when he wears these Rudraksha and all that. You see that there's a new aura around him, and that itself makes us admire a leader who has gone almost into the stage of being a sage. You know, so it's absolutely beautiful and brilliant to see that. But also, Saffron, people like the former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Digvijay Singh, he stoked a fresh controversy ahead of the Pran Pratishtha ceremony of Ayodhya Ram Mandir by saying Ram Lalla idol being seated in the temple does not look like a child. I've been saying this from the beginning. Where is the idol of Ram Lalla, whose idol was controversial and destroyed? What was the need for a second statue? Our Guru Shankaracharya Swami Swarupananda Ji Maharaj had also suggested that the idol of Lord Rama in the Ram Janmabhoomi temple should be in the form of a child and should be in the lap of Mother Kaushalya. But the idol that is being seated in the temple does not look like a child, is what he said. Meanwhile, also, as you know, around the world, also, Khalistanis are taking, going against this stream. So, do tell us your thoughts on this, Saffron.
Ma'am, I would like to start with this saying in Hindi that कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे लोगों का काम है कहना. Remember when BJP had this in their manifesto, and they had been like talking about this for a long time. At that time, you had all of these people from so-called India Alliance saying mandir bana ke dikhao. And then when the mandir is built, so now they have started parroting a different language. uh, you don't exactly you if you keep going into it, it's a never ending rant from all of these people. I think they are hurt very big time that this supposedly this agenda on according to them in the BJP manifesto that has been fulfilled. But BJP was always proactively saying this. They never hid this fact. They always said that that is the Janma Bhoomi of Ram, and that's where the temple is going to be set up. But if you see now, all the sycophants of Sonia Gandhi are coming out of their bills, so to speak, and saying all these things that, oh, the idol does not look like a child, or oh, what is being built. So there was some other comedian, I don't know his name, is small time comedian. I saw his clip, and he said that is the party building any bridge? Is there being any development done? Oh no, it's just a temple, right? And who in the world inaugurates a temple? We should inaugurate a bridge or a school or a hospital, but none of that is being done. So they try to coin it as like, it's a political agenda and whatnot. See, people will keep saying whatever they want. They are getting butt hurt that it's a awakening of Sanatana Dharma, and people are finally finding a peace and happiness in visiting Lord Rama. You will see that like in the coming years it will generate so much revenue that it will also help the local people create a lot of jobs. I just hope
Yeah,
that
that's the main thing.
yes, yes, absolutely. I just hope that the influx of people is not so much due to their bhakti that it becomes like an onus on the authorities to manage it. But I hope that they are well equipped to handle the rush and the crowd that will visit there on to worship Lord Rama.
Yeah. In fact, in this onslaught, many other people are also attacked. For example, in Kerala, the top actor Suresh Gopi, who's a BJP, and his daughter was getting married. Now, his daughter, the wedding became the butt of all attention for the communists. So they said that where did he get the money from? What did he do? Blah blah blah, and everything. Just because Modi ji attended his wedding. Now, he said on Twitter that whatever I have spent is my own hard earned money. I've not taken anything from anybody. So please cut these, what do you call these lies, and let us live in peace. You know. And then you had another, the famous singer called Chitra. She just said that, see, it's very evening that in the evening you should pray, you know, and light a lamp and think of Lord Rama and Sita. So even that became, such a controversy. They said that, see, she should not be allowed to sing. So many things about that. So what has happened is, without our realizing it, whether we like it or not, detractors also have Ram on their lips. That's a
Absolutely.
good thing.
Absolutely. And that's why like I feel that this negative energy can be transformed into positive energy, because my mom always used to say that if people are getting jealous of you, that means you are doing something nice. And I think that we should use this as an opportunity to spread our devotion for Lord Rama. Let people get troubled. We don't have to insult them back. We don't have to say anything back to them. I think let them be ahead. There are a lot of people from other religions who are also happy that this is being done. Right? It's just these few detractors and online trolls and paid politicians who say these statements to incite violence. Now, as you know, that elections are also coming in a few months, so these kind of things are going to be more spoken. There will be a lot of derogatory comments, a lot of mudslinging coming in. But I think keeping all that aside, I'm so happy that finally this dream of Ram Mandir is realized, and I hope that the world will take a note of it in a positive way, that Lord Rama, who has been like such an integral part of our mythology, is being celebrated and revered.
You can say history, not mythology.
Yeah, in his hometown of Janmabhoomi, and he has a temple which should have been created long back.
Yeah. Also, I think one of the most, what you call positive points of this is that, see, the temple is completely built by people's funds. We've all paid our own amounts for getting the temple constructed. So that itself, it's been a people's movement to build this, temple. So we can all take pride in saying that, see, we all were, part of it. It's historic, So this is something really, really, something that we can really be proud of.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Now, yeah. So moving on to another piece of news, Saffron, we'll talk about Shoaib and yeah. So we're talking about the veteran Pakistani cricketer Shoaib Malik, who's married Pakistani actor Sana Javed amid rumors of his divorce from Indian tennis player Sania Mirza. Malik shared the update on Saturday through a social media post on X, formerly known as Twitter. The post comprises pictures from their wedding ceremony with the caption, "And we created you in pairs." Now, rumors of him dating Javed has been doing the rounds for quite a while before the ex-Pakistani captain fueled speculations further when he wished the actress on her birthday last year, "Happy birthday, buddy." along with a picture of the two. The 41-year-old has come out in support of Javed when the Pyare Afzal actress was slammed for an alleged rude behavior towards juniors and makeup artists on the set. I've known her for quite some time now, and I have had the opportunity to work with her multiple times. From my personal experience, I can only say that she's always been kind and courteous towards me and the people around us, is what he has tweeted. Now, what I don't find surprising is that, see, he does it as though he's entitled to another wife. See, they can have three or four wives. So he is not even, I think, bothered to inform Sania that he's getting married. So these are all very, very weird customs. And look at, isn't he ashamed of himself? Before this, before Sania, he was married to a lady called Aisha. Now within a few years, you'll find him getting married to another woman.
And ma'am, one thing that it kind of like it's appalling that Sania Mirza did not see all of these red flags when he
Yeah.
was married to Aisha in 2010, I guess 9, 10, sometime around that. He denied those allegations. He said that it's not true. She's lying. And then I think Aisha came out and gave some photographic or video evidence of them being married, and that's when I heard or I read somewhere rather that it was a settlement done in a very hush hush manner where he paid her some 15 crores of rupees. But all of this was not was this not something Sania Mirza was aware of? See, that's the thing. When you are so obsessed with someone, be like if you are not going to look at the red flags, you are going to pay the price down the
Yes.
line, and that is exactly what has happened, right? the,
Yeah.
Most definitely, I think that in a way Sania Mirza, it's good for Sania Mirza that she can say good riddance, but I think it came in too late, so she has to live with that blot for the rest of her life. And
Yeah.
if you remember, how she was defending her marriage with Shoaib, and the whole world was telling her that what have you done, you are such a budding star, you could have gotten anyone who would have been much better than this moron. But in the end, what can you say? When people, they say, right, love is blind, but the deceitfulness inside in the love, that is more blind than the love itself.
Yeah. Absolutely. So there's just a question that I'd like to answer. We're from the East Coast. Why are we inviting non-Hindus to our temples in the first place? If they're calling us heathens, pagans, kafirs, and evil in their holy books, इनको आने की ही क्यों
आना
है?
ही क्यों है?
Yeah. So here, Saffron, would you like to take that?
See, I would say that we have always been different from the entire world, right? We have never built our way of life totally focused on a religion, because Sanatan Dharma is not a religion, it's a way of life, right? And there will always be detractors. अगर हम नॉन हिंदूज को अलाउ नहीं करेंगे तो कुछ हिंदू लोग भी रहेंगे हमारे बीच में जो जिन जो खुश नहीं है इस डिसीजन से. They are not happy. There are Hindu. So I think that this Hindu non-Hindu thing, it goes much beyond that. There
Yeah.
are Hindus, so-called Hindus, who are very annoyed that this temple is being built. So then how do you mark that line? So we should not keep any line. Everyone is allowed there, right? We should rather, what we should do is that we should have a proper infrastructure from a security perspective, from a safety perspective, from a convenience perspective, that we should have the proper infrastructure so that anybody who goes there, they have a good time, right? And they are safe with their families, with their friends, with their relatives.
And that is what Lord Rama wanted. He wanted people to coexist in peace.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that is the speciality of Sanatan Dharma, that all for one, one for all, right? So that should be the approach. I'm sure that there will be a lot of people who will try in the coming months. You will see a lot of people who will try to detract, who will post videos of, oh, look how shoddy the services are at Ram Mandir. See, people are not getting food, or there is no electricity, whatnot. They will have their agenda to propagate, but we should focus on the end goal, which is serving Lord Rama, worshipping him, and getting his
In
blessing.
his own homeland.
Absolutely, absolutely, and making sure that we pay that forward to the community by being kind to them, by helping people regardless of whatever caste, creed, religion, community they are from. I think in general people are good in general, if you are good to people, they are good to you. But yes, there are a lot of detractors who have their agenda based on religion, and they are like, extremists or like deracinated Hindus, so to speak, which will always try to detract us from our end goal.
Yeah. So another thing also, it's also important to understand that see, we are a democratic, republic where we accept all people, whether they are Jews or Christians or Muslims or everybody. We coexist, happily. Never has in this 2 tenures of Modi ji, there been a riot. You know, this happened all during the tenure of the Sonia Gandhi regime. So that itself should show you that see this leader wants peace. He wants
and
everybody to coexist. Yes.
and this is the primary reason why you will see the Western countries and other theocratic nations, they can't take the fact, because they have to really keep their people in line by providing, like, by keeping very harsh rules and whatnot, like, and that's why you will see that all these Western news channels, they can't see it, and they are always trying to show a darker side of India, be it like the system inabilities or inefficiencies, or it could be anything else related to a one-off incident by some moron in our country. So that's the it is, see, it is very easy to get brainwashed. When I tell you something by confidence that, oh, this is the truth, you will believe me, right? Even though if I'm lying, right? And that is like the highest technique of manipulation, and that is being very well played by the media. It has been going on for a long time. But now, thanks to social media and people like Meena ji and several others who try to call spade a spade, and I think we will talk a lot about it even when we switch topics. And I'll get back to this point on how get easily people get brainwashed. A lot of people had gotten brainwashed in our SSR movement also. I was also a victim of it, and I apologize for making some wrong decisions in the movement. But yes, you learn from your mistakes, you get up, you dust yourself off, and you march towards your goal, and that is exactly what we need to do.
But
uh,
also the fact is that see, Saffron, you've also stood by SSR. So in the long run, you have stood and you've supported it. So that's what is important.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and that I will continue to support. I'll continue to support, like I have supported, like, Rabia ji and several others, Janvi Kukreja's mom. So I'll continue to do it for as long as I can breathe, and I hope that we all, like, the awakened souls, just like I like to call all of you, we should work together towards supporting, regardless of how things are happening.
Yeah. So Srija says that see why these people are being invited, for this function. So people are scamsters. So Srija, just quick note to you is that see, somewhere we all feel betrayed when these people get invites. I'm talking about the people who've done wrong, okay? But then I also think that see, okay, we've all individually also contributed to the building of the temple. Now they should have sent us invites first because we were the ones who really, went all out to for the promotion of the temple. It never happened, but we're not complaining because you can't call the whole of India, to the function that can hold only so many people. So if and even if they call, they have to call people who are the movers and shakers, who will spread word. If it is negatively or positively, that they themselves have to decide. But without that, a world doesn't move. That you know very clearly. See, for example, I just give you a simple case. In the case of Epstein's list that has come out of who has visited the island, if you look at that, you wouldn't watch any Hollywood movie because every Hollywood movie has these people who visited Epstein's island. Yesterday, I was watching Elvis Presley's movie, and here I find one more person, Tom Hanks there, and whatever admiration I had for him just seeped out, and I couldn't watch him. But it was with such anger that I watched that movie. So if you look at that, we can't watch a lot of things. Yes, sir.
Ma'am, I want to call out one thing, just because you like brought up Tom Hanks' name.
Yeah.
There is, in fact, a lady who has been accusing Tom Hanks of raping her and like, buying her. Her parents sold her off to Tom Hanks for a few dollars or few $1,000s, and she has been proactively talking about
Maybe
this.
we won't mention that here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like the thing is that the thing that I'm trying to say is that, like, you see, somewhere at the back of our mind we didn't know about all these things, but
Yeah.
when we come to know, we realize that, oh, we were being fooled for so
Yes.
long, right?
Absolutely.
And that is exactly what we have to do. We have to keep our eyes open, even though we are seeing something. Sometimes they try to portray our prime minister in a bad way, sometimes they will try to take a political hit at some other person. But I think, like, being awakened and not being affected by what is happening around you, the negative energy, is the key. And that is something that I see that our prime minister has also attained in a very big way, being aware of your surroundings but not being affected by it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, moving on to the Big Boss series, though we do not watch it, some excerpts always creep into YouTube, and we do see that, and especially because we want to know who are these two characters, Ankita and Vicky, and why have they been called into Big Boss? They've been called into Big Boss by Salman Khan only to build up the TRP, and also anything on Sushant Singh, it's like it's a money churner. The cash just rolls in, and they think that by talking about him constantly, he will bring in money for Big Boss. Now all this time, Ankita has been crying, saying that she was so faithful to him and they were such a great couple and all that. And then meanwhile excerpts come in where she's fighting with this guy Vicky, and you can see the kind of there's no coordination between the two, and she's undergoing depression and things like that. In between all this, SSR sister gives, the one in the USA, gives her support. And it is this that we find most irksome.
This happened
Okay.
recently, right? This
Yes,
happened
yes,
recently,
yes.
right?
So this is something that we can. This is the second thing you also noted last week, Saffron. You remember when she said that if
During.
something has happened to him,
Mhm.
then we should find out the truth. You mean to say that she's accepted the fact that it was a suicide and it was not a murder? That's the first point. Second point is everybody knows Ankita was never really in love with Sushant. It was just a sort of a arranged match where they helped each other. That's it, because she already had this boyfriend there in the around her. So when people have been talking about why the sisters are acting in such a manner, you know, a lot of the people, SSRians, were attacked. Yes, to you, Sab.
Ma'am, a person is known by the company they keep, right? uh, and it's a very classic example of how we perceived Ankita once we saw that after all of this, like, SSR murder and all, she hosted her birthday party and she invited Sandeep Singh, and she was like shamelessly dancing in that video, right? And then, okay, lot of people, SSRians, were like, oh, don't attack the family, they've been through so much, whatnot, right? But we never attacked the family for what they had been through. We attacked the family for their inaction. That is exactly what people were not understanding throughout. She continued to, this Shweta Singh Kirti, she continued to post pictures and whatnot. Even, in fact, some people might accuse me when I bring this up, but she it had gotten to a point where she was posting about her personal stuff, that on the SSR page, that, oh, I'm going to a date night, you know I mean, you had created this page because you wanted justice for your brother, right? You wanted the perpetrators who killed your brother to be brought to justice. And how come you diverted to a completely different thing? And maybe it was because SSR was not her real brother. That's why, like they say, blood is thicker than water, right? the जो अपना होता है वो अपना ही होता है, right? So this is perfectly exemplified in her family, where Shweta Singh Kirti continued to support this Ankita Lokhande, right? The woman who was bashed by all the SSRians throughout, right? She did not, and I feel that, like, maybe it's Ankita Lokhande who must have called her and told her that, hey, you know what, I'm not getting support. Can you please tweet
Yeah.
about me or write a post about me? And she listened to it,
Mhm.
right? Are, it's one thing to commit the crime. Sometimes people get away from crime by saying that he told me to do it or she told me to do it. But you are the one. You are not a 5-year-old child who does not have sense of life, like how what is right or what is wrong, right? You cannot behave that way. You clearly knew what you were doing, right? And now I heard that she is also giving some clarifications about, oh, why I did that, I did it because they were in a long relationship and whatnot, all these bunch of lies that are being propagated. I had doubt on the sisters from day one. From day one, I had doubt on the sisters since they were like supporting Crocodile, inviting them and all the other smuggler and all these people on their spaces. I had doubt on them.
All the people we doubted, whether it was
Exactly.
Nilotpal or whether it was this
YouTube,
lady. Yeah,
YouTubers,
yes,
everyone,
yes,
everyone. You see, the YouTubers are supporting the Khalistani factions now. You see what is
true.
happening.
Yeah,
You don't have to go that far in the SSR movement. You will come to know who is really vouching for the country versus who is supporting for the anti-nationals.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
and remember, ma'am, remember, I would like to call this, like, because you have never said about this, ma'am. I have always told you that, like, why people, even behind the camera, I used to ask you that why are people getting so triggered when we
Mm.
talk the truth about this family. And when I say family, I mean the sisters. I'm not talking about SSR's father. And you used to say that yes, you are also getting like maligned, trolled, your family is getting harassed for it. But now people are realizing the truth of what was the real face of these sisters, right? Yes, maybe you can say that one of the sisters was the real sister. She, later on, she tried a lot. It was maybe too little too late. Those efforts were too little too late. But by and large, I think I would still not believe, I cannot still believe the fact that you were in shock for an entire year when the entire world was wanting for you to speak out, come out, and डिमांड जस्टिस फॉर योर ब्रदर हु वाज ब्रूटली मर्डर्ड. देखो, बाकी लोगों को देखो यार, कितने उनकी माएँ कैसे लड़ रही है अभी तक. Poor Rabia ji, she spent so much money, she got completely drained seeking justice for her daughter and still not giving up hope. And you were like, sitting in your shell saying that you were shocked. Okay, we can understand you were shocked for a few months. It took you entire over a year to come out of that grief. And then what did you do when you came out of that grief? You conducted spaces, you conducted lives. Is that what you did? We expected more from you. Anyway, if I keep talking about it, like, blood starts boiling. And I think
No,
that
see, what is going to happen is this is a is leading to something really very sort of embarrassing for them because very soon the case is going to get solved and it's going to lead directly to murder. Then what are these sisters going to say?
absolutely, absolutely, ma'am, the case has already like gone cold in 3 years. It's a
Huh.
circumstantial case. There is no body, there is no proper post-mortem report done, right? So what are you going to rely on in court? You have lost the battle then and there itself. But see, the thing about circumstantial evidence is that the more time passes by, the difficult it becomes to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it was a murder. You have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Court is not going to consider emotions. I'm sorry to say this, but that's how it goes in court, right? So and what do, like, अगर हमारा कोई अपना मरता है तो हम तो कितने इंटेंसिटी से जस्टिस मांगेंगे. वी विल गो हैमर एंड टोंग्स. वी विल use every inch of the attention we get, media attention, whatever resources we get at our disposal, right? It never occurred to me for even once that he had any sister. The way the family was behaving, the sisters were behaving, and one of her sister is married to a police officer, right? He's a
Yes,
very
yes.
big, he has a big post. Still they could not do, still they could not expedite. They could have used their red tape to fasten the justice process. But what happened? Nothing happened. Nothing, absolutely nothing. The family was mum. Okay, I can understand that the lawyer may have instructed them to keep their mouth shut. Did it take them, like, it took them over a year to speak? They could not, like, see why is the charge sheet not being filed? Why is there no 302? They did not do anything, and that is where my blood boils. Like, so many people came to me at that time in my like, DMs, direct message me that, oh, Saffron, we really support you. We cannot say about family because our other friends in this movement, they will stop talking to us. So there was a clear agenda that do not ask anything about the family. The family is grieving. The family is grieving. Well, you
So
can see
hence
what's the
they,
result
yeah,
now.
they got a sort of shelter.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And a lot of YouTubers were also had to kind of tailor their way of presenting this case, that, oh, do not attack family. They had to clarify that, oh, we are not attacking family. Even, like, not many of them are talking about, like, why. Just imagine, like, all I would pray all the sisters that your brothers are very hale and hearty, but imagine, like, if SSR was your brother, is that the way you would have reacted? You would have kept mum? No, I can tell you, all of these uh, like females who are watching this live, they would have gone, uh, like, above and beyond to demand justice. So
Yeah,
that's the thing that really hurts me a
yeah.
lot.
And also, see what's going to happen. See, for example, if if everything goes well and the case is going as judiciously, then what will happen is exactly what happened to Disha's father, who says now I know that I've learned that this is a murder, and it's not a
People are
suicide.
saying, what is he saying? Like, people are saying that it's, people had been saying from day one, sir, आप क्या थे, आप सुन नहीं रहे थे, आप
Mm,
देखो, you can take the horse to the river, but you cannot
mm.
make the horse drink the water.
Yes.
The one who is sleeping, you can wake them up, but the one who is pretending to sleep, you cannot wake them up,
Mm,
right? And I get that, like, he was under a lot of pressure and all those things, but then you have lost your daughter. You have, like, God forbid, if something, like, would have happened to me, I would have, like, gone all out, like,
mm,
because I have nothing to live for at that time. That's how it is, like, the best
mm,
they can do is, like, kill me.
mm.
Life is not worth living at that point anyway, for any parent who has to outlive their child. That's
Yeah.
what I think. Sorry, ma'am, I'm, like, speaking out a lot.
Yes.
Maybe
No,
looks like
no,
I'm venting out a
no.
lot, but these
What
are
you
just
say is
words
right. Yes.
coming out.
What you say is right. Poorna says, I feel sisters don't give a damn about Sushant. We, being nobody, still bothered about his mysterious death,
Exactly.
And she says specifically SSRians.
Absolutely. See, like, so many people like Purna ji, they are all, like, supporting. It's going to get 4 years now. Looks
Yes,
like the entire world has forgotten him except for us,
yes.
but we continue to talk about it, and we never let him die in our hearts.
Mm,
And we have not seen even 1% of the effort from family, as opposed to how the SSRians have, like, contributed towards the movement.
yes. Wolf, I've seen that. Yes, disappointed, but we cannot stop with there only, right? We won't stop till Disha and Sushant get justice. Absolutely. And Nisha says, "Thanks, ma'am, for talking about it. I was so bothered, my blood used to boil when I saw sisters support silent killer." Yes. So here, another thing is that, see, one thing you must be, a little, happy about SSRians is that everyone who have been named around this murder have not done well. Whether you're talking about Suraj Pancholi or Riya Chakravarti or all these people. Plus, you see now Thakre's his close aide has been caught in a money laundering case. He's been arrested, and his this thing is Suraj Chawan. In the Khichdi scam. Even the COVID pandemic, they made money using poor people. So one thing is very clear: the noose is tightening around Aditya Thackeray also, because Aditya Thackeray has not had a smooth, ride after that, and now you see that he's involved in so many scams. And ultimately, I think before the election, something is going to happen where he's completely caught in so many scams that he will have to give himself in.
Absolutely, ma'am. See, there is this one thing called karmic justice. It
Mm,
is happening in its own way.
mm,
And you will definitely see that due to the elections also. And I'll make no bones about it, that due to the, like, impending elections, you will see that, at least I feel that, like, these guys get troubled, grilled by the law enforcement machineries, by CBI or whichever body, they should grill these people and question them on why is their name coming up. Check their call records, right? You will see that, who's this guy, Nilesh Rane. He has been saying for a long time that, why don't you check,
Nitish Rani.
yeah, he's saying that for a long time. He's been saying that, why are we not checking Aditya Thakray's location on that fateful night when that crime happened, right? Cell tower location. So all of these things, and maybe he also has some evidence that he has spoken about a lot, that he gave it to the agencies and whatnot. I appreciate him for the fact that at least he's the one who's been like consistently talking about it on
Yes.
public platforms. So we really appreciate, credit where due. uh, Somewhere I still feel, I will be honest, somewhere I still feel that it is for some political mileage, because I don't see things get done. But I understand it, not everything is in his hand. He can only do what he can do, just like us, to talk about it. And that is where I highly appreciate that. I've also heard that he's going to come on some space tomorrow and like talk more about it. So I would want to know if he says anything new on, or gives any new development on what has been going on, considering his political connections. If he knows anything, that would be good to know. And I really feel that, like, at least with this impending elections, something should happen in SSR case, and these guys should be brought to book. you know
Yeah,
it also aches my heart that, like, people like Siddharth Pithani, they are like doing very well. If you see, ma'am, he moved to a different place, he bought a very expensive car and house. Where is all that money coming from?
absolutely.
People, like, most of us, like, even in the viewers section, I would say we come from a very humble background, where we have to go, like, pillar
Work
to
a
post.
lifetime to get
Exactly, we have
things.
to work a lifetime, take loans and whatnot, to even buy a simple car, right? So how are these people affording all these Mercedes and BMWs and whatnot, right? So there is clearly something fishy. A lot of money has been exchanged. And I think that even like some bad apples from the current government are, like, they have you have seen how a lady is, like, shamelessly posting pictures with Ekta Kapoor and all, and she's a minister
Mm.
in our current government. So there are a lot of bad apples who are also.
Also, see, another movement that's happening in that direction
Mhm.
is the need to camouflage or to whitewash these people. Now, Ria, who has absolutely no standing. Now, if you see, usually when you have a brand, you'll always select the top model of that era to represent your brand. Here, you have someone who's faded out, someone like Ria to represent a pet product, a pet food. Okay, and these people have suddenly got 60 million 60 million rupees. So, which means from where did they get that? And why were they insistent on only Ria coming to Dubai to launch that? And it is at the same time that even Aditya Thackeray goes to Dubai. So, a lot of activity happening where these people are all rushing to Dubai. So,
Ma'am,
there's some sort of, yeah.
I
So,
didn't
there's
know
some
about the fact that they were both in Dubai around the same
at the
time.
same time, yes, yes. And that's the time when she wanted to show that she also has a religious side to her or a spiritual side to her. And she went and visited the temple in Dubai for some photo, op. So this is all happening, and everybody knows how closely she was connected, at least through the voice calls that she made with Aditya Thackeray, during that time.
Absolutely. And see, it's a big connected network, right? You talk about Bhatts, you talk about Johars, you talk about Akhtars, right? You can see, I don't have to even talk about it. You already know that how they were protecting around the time when she was constantly being questioned. She was sitting in Farhan Akhtar's car and going to the CBI office for questioning and whatnot, right? So you can see that she had a lot of backing. Satish Manishinde, who is such an expensive lawyer, where is the money coming from, right? There are so many things that the agencies can investigate. You don't have to only sometimes you don't only have to look at the crime and look at the evidence, but you also have to look at the other things, the red flags, right? What happened after the crime. You can reverse engineer, like they say in the technology industry. You can reverse engineer and connect the dots all the way back to where the crime happened, right? So I really I if the agencies, if they happen to hear this, I would just like urge that, like, there are a lot of people whose emotions are invested in getting justice to our beautiful SSR, and I would urge them to look at all of these red flags, question them, grill them, get your like necessary logistics in place, whether these are warrants or whatnot, or permissions, court orders. Like, fasten that process. Think of, like, think of it in a very adaptive way and in a very agile way, just how things are done in, like, tech industry. And that is how you can, like, get faster results. If you are going to just sit on evidences for like years and years, you're not going to get anywhere, right? See, Mr. Harsh has already said that SSR had already, he used to talk in a very cryptic way, but he had revealed a lot in his diaries, right?
So here, with all this, keeping all this in mind, there's certainly a sort of anger with the family, except for the father, against the family for not coming out and standing with the SSRians and also speaking openly about this case. So this is what has upset the SSRians, who been were fighting for this since now, as you say, almost 4 years. So it's a very sad state of affairs. But yet, with or without the sisters, this mission will go on, and we'll all fight, and we'll wait for us to get justice. Whether if elections have to be the point where it'll all come to a a conclusion, then let that be. Even if politics is going to help us, let it help us. But what we need is a concrete, what you call ending to SSR's murder. So on
Absolutely.
this note, yeah. So on this note, Saffron, we'll end this session. Thank you so much for coming and joining us and speaking your thoughts. And hopefully, we'll keep our fingers crossed, at least in the coming months, that things will change after Ramji returns to Ayodhya.
Absolutely, ma'am. And on this note, I would like to say that I'm very honored to again share the stage with you and also interact with our viewers. And I would like to end this session by saying Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram. Absolutely.